In an article from the American Civil Liberties Union, written in 2011, they show that the United States has 5% of the world's population, but they have 25% of the world's prisoners. And the U.S. actually has more prisoners than any other country in the entire world. And half of these prisoners are in for nonviolent crimes. And to understand how much this costs taxpayers, in the year 2007, $44 billion was spent on incarceration and related expenses. And comparing this to 1987, only $19 billion was spent. So in this 20-year span, the amount that taxpayers have had to spend has more than doubled. And just for comparison, we can look at higher education, which only rose 21% during the same 20-year period. And if we compare races, we can see that there are large disparities in who is locked up. The incarceration rates for males aged 18 and up are 1 for every 106 white people, 1 for every 36 Hispanics, and 1 for every 15 black people. So when you compare blacks and whites, you can see that blacks are incarcerated 7 times as much as white people. And in another article written by the American Civil Liberties Union in 2013, they show that black people are arrested 3.7 times more often than white people for marijuana possession. And this rate of 3.7 times as often is really just an average. And in some counties, black people are arrested up to 30 times more often than white people. And to get an idea of how many people are being arrested, we can look at the years 2001 to 2010. And here you can see that during this time period, 7 million people or more were arrested, which averages out to over 700,000 people per year. And this number is half of all drug arrests. And to understand the severity of these numbers, we need to look at what the consequences are for a marijuana possession charge. So the consequences of being arrested could include losing your job or making it more difficult to find a job. For school, you can lose all of your financial aid and scholarship money. If you're living in public housing, you could be kicked out. If you have children, you could lose custody of them. And if you're an immigrant, you could be deported. And these consequences are on top of any kind of jail or prison time you might experience, plus any kind of fees. And the cost of this enforcement comes out to, in the year 2010, to be $3.61 billion. And if we look at statistics from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, we can compare usage rates for marijuana between black people and white people and understand that that rate of black people being arrested 4 times as often as white people really doesn't make any sense. So in the source that I provided in the description of the video, in Table 1.24b, which focuses on marijuana specifically, we can compare lifetime and past month usage between blacks and whites. In the year 2012, blacks had a lifetime usage of 40.9% compared to whites, which have a lifetime usage of 47.1%. And what this means is that more white people have used marijuana in their lifetime than black people. But if we look at the past month usage, you can see that blacks, being at 9.1%, is greater than the 7.4% of white people. And what this statistic means is that more black people are using marijuana on a monthly basis. So in essence, blacks should be arrested at the same rate as whites, since while they may have a higher monthly usage rates, less black people use marijuana over their lifetime. And this leads us to the question, why are blacks arrested almost 4 times as much as whites, for the same crime despite equal usage rates.